All right, welcome back. So today we're going to look at while loops in Python. While loops are a great, useful tool in programming. They allow us to do multiple things and keep iterating through the code over and over and over until we tell it to stop. If you think of it, it's like with a while loop, it's like while this is occurring, we're going to have this section of code run. So let's just kind of get started with this. So I'm going to actually create a variable. I'm just going to call it name. And I'm just going to collect a series of names. Okay, so we're going to ask for an input. That's one of the things you want to start out with here. And I'm just going to ask a question. Please enter a name. Okay. And what we're going to do is this is just going to collect names in this. And what we want to do is just have it keep asking over and over and over again. So what I'm going to do is create a while loop, and notice the color on here, the while changes, so we know that this is a tool within Python, to a built-in subprogram. So while, I'm going to say that while name is not equal to no, or stop. We'll do that. And what that means is while the program is going to run over and over and over and over until, I'm going to actually make this lowercase stop. So while name is not stop, it's going to continue to collect names and it's going to keep adding them in here. And later on when we get into programming, and we'll talk more about how we can add this to different things to storage devices within an array. Okay, so we're going to collect names and add them to an array. In this instance, we're just going to use a variable and we're just going to have name change constantly with the name that we're adding in here. Okay, so then we're just going to print the name and just keep collecting that. Now, if I stopped right here, that would be a problem. Now, within the programming tool that I'm using to write this code, I can actually stop the program. But if I were to run this right now, what would end up happening is I would just be in this infinite loop over and over and over, and there would be no way for me to stop it. So let's just kind of run this for a second and show you. Press enter a name. We'll do Jim. And now it's going to just print Jim over and over and over, and there's no way for it to stop. Okay, so it's an infinite loop. It will run forever. You can actually use this to do numbers and things like that and some really fun things. You could have it increase the numbers and have it keep counting over and over and over, which is kind of a cool thing. But you need a way to stop your program or stop your loop. And so this is really, really important, is if while name is not stop, this variable, I have to, within this loop here, have a way to change this. If I don't, it will run forever. Okay, so my next line of code here then is I'm basically going to take this exact same code that I have right here. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and place this in here, and this is our out, because now I have a way to change name. If I didn't do that, it would just run forever. So now let's go ahead and run this, and we'll do Jim again, and now it's going to say please enter a name. Okay, well now we'll do Dave, and we'll do Sandy and Sally, and so on, and it'll keep asking that question over and over and over and over again until we type stop. And I could add some code here at the bottom. Let's tab over. We'll print, oops, thank you for using the loop. Okay, so this will not run. This is a good example of showing you how these loops work. If we watch this, and we're going to run the code, so it says please enter Jim, or please enter a name, and so we'll do Ron. We'll come up with some different names here. So please enter a name, and now it enters the loop because name is not stop, and so it's going to enter the loop. It's going to print that name that I entered, and then it's going to ask for it again. Okay, and now it prints Sally, please enter a name, and so on. And then eventually, if I do stop, it'll end and it'll say thank you for using the loop. If I ran this again, and let's say right away I just type stop, well then obviously it's not going to run into the loop here at all. It won't enter this. It's just going to run right to this line of code because it's going to say stop. So it's not stop, it's not going to run into this. And if I enter this right here, it says please thank you for using the loop, even though we really didn't use the loop because we never entered the loop. So this is how you use while loops. There's other loops that we'll get into, but for right now, to not get too in depth with those, we're just going to focus on the while loop for this one. All right, so this is what while loops are, at least using text. We'll later videos talk about numbers and things like that that we can use for this. Hopefully that helps, and good luck with your coding.